Good morning. Today I am making a video and I am making it after listening to some Maga supporters and Trump supporters in the United States of America. I'm doing so because I felt actually physically disgusted. Okay? You want to mock my English? Go ahead. But I speak 7 languages as a native right now, and I understand a couple of others. So, when you are able to speak more than your, I would say, rather primitive English, at least compared with the English that is spoken in the United Kingdom, be it in England, in Wales, or even in Scotland, in Ireland, with their respective accents. But even so, the English that is spoken there is much more correct, much more understandable, and more than that, much more civilized than the one you speak. Even if I dislike some people in the UK deeply, like those in Reform that are irrelevant American clowns, as far as I am concerned, I will tell you this. They speak excellent English. I like people that speak their language correctly, even if with their accent. When it comes to Portuguese, I like a person that is able to speak proper Portuguese, even if that person is speaking with a Portuguese accent, with a Brazilian accent, and the respective dialects and accents that we have in different parts of the country. But if there is something that I appreciate in anyone, is to speak the language properly. In Deutsch, das ist also, was ich denke, wir müssen machen. Sprechen Sie bitte Deutsch. Et si on parlait en français, c'est bien plus facile que la personne qui parle le français parle d'une façon correcte, n'est-ce pas? C'est plus facile, c'est très facile, excusez-moi. Je n'ai pas parlé français déjà beaucoup de temps, des années. Et si tú hablas castellano, es bien mejor que lo hablas correctamente, sin dudas, ¿no? We could continue, but that is, I am not here to show off my language abilities. And first of all, excuse me for my German, but I haven't spoken it like this in a great deal of time. I often speak it with my nephews because they also speak German. They also speak English. They also speak Spanish. Well, I am saying Spanish so you understand, but the name of the language is Castilian, not Spanish. There is no such thing as a Spanish language. It's ridiculous. They also speak a bit of Italian, like me, and a couple of more that is of no relevance for this video. As I said in the beginning, I listen to those people. Why? Because I have this silly idea that when you are speaking of a subject, you should listen to every side of the discussion. Even if you know from the start that they might be wrong, you never assume it when you are analyzing the subject, whatever you are analyzing. And that is what I do. I nullify my own emotions and then I proceed to make an analysis on the subject that I am analyzing. So, whenever I am in a position where I want to understand, pardon me, why certain people act the way they act and do what they do and say what they say, I want to understand them. I want to know what causes them to have that behavior. And first of all, I understand the fear and the troubles of immigration, and I am a firm believer in controlling it. No doubts about it. Why? For social, economical, even political reasons. Because if it is true that we need a degree of immigration due to the lack of production of new people in our country, we also cannot let that importation of manpower to disrupt the existence of our state. Meaning, and I'm talking about states and cultures. If you come around with the talking about races and whatever, stop it. Okay, we are different because we evolve in and adapt in different parts of the world. Okay, that is the only reason. But let's continue. I am also pro controlling all of that because we need to control it. We need to maintain our country stable. We need to defend our own democracies. We need to defend our state, the people that compose our state, be them who they might be. So that is perfectly acceptable. But a blind blockage, a blind cut, picking up people in the middle of the street, that is not how you solve things. That is a sign of a state that is unable to control itself. You put controls where they are. People are working, you go to the place of work, you ask for the documents, you see what is wrong. If that person has to leave the country, then you speak with the person, you explain it to whoever, and you do what we do here. That is, you have a deadline to abandon the country voluntarily, and if you do so, you can try again. It's simple. If the person says yeah and does it, all is good. If the person does not do it and continues to remain in national territory without the proper authorizations, they're expelled. Next time we catch them, we deport them. What is so hard in understanding this? There is also migrant work. People are allowed work visas to come into the country and work and then leave. Is this perfect? Does this work all the time? Of course not. We are talking about humans. We are talking about factors that may differ and may alter according to different circumstances. A person may go on for months, for example, under under the covers of whatever they want. People can go on and escape, let's call it like this, from the eye of the state for a long time. But remember this: if then they are caught, they are permanently banned from entering the country. And it's not just the passports. We take biometric biometric identification, we take prints, we do all of that, and then if there's any doubt, we do it. Even football fans, yes, I don't say soccer. The soccer is only for the Americans, okay? I say football. It's played with your feet. So, football, okay? What you call football is a mutant weak version of rugby that I played, okay? So, I don't care. Sorry. I do sometimes rant and rave. But you will see that when if you see some videos of mine. But continuing on, when you understand, when we see the world through the lens of logic, we are able to understand the world. But if we see only the world through the eyes of emotions, then in that case, we are always betrayed because our emotions constantly betray us. And if you trust in a person that appeals to your emotions, you have already lost. When a politician tries to speak to my heart, I don't trust him. When a politician presents me facts and says, I'm going to do this, I look at the politician policies, and if they match or more or less match, because it's never perfect, never, you cannot expect that. And if I think he is proposing things that actually can be done, then I trust him and I vote for them. They have 4 years to prove that they are right, that they were serious about it. If they do a bad job next elections, I won't vote for them. It's as simple as this. And this is why democracy works when it is properly done. But when you have demagogues promising you the world and making you laugh, you are screwed. If a politician promises you the moon without telling you how he is going to get there, you are screwed. Again, I'm going to talk about the tariffs. And as I said in previous videos, I am also a country boy. I'm basically a hillbilly with culture, but I am a hillbilly, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of being a country person, a practical person, a person that likes to work with his hands also, a person that likes to be active, a person that does not like pompous city people. I don't like them either. I've been working all my life since I was a kid. So, what I'm trying to tell you is this. I'm going to explain to you again tariffs, and I'm going to say it in a way that you are able to understand it. Suppose this. You are a potato farmer. Your country does not and cannot produce enough potato seeds for you to buy and plant your potatoes every year. So your country has to import potato seeds from elsewhere. And if you tell me, well, we could make them here, well, perhaps, I don't know. But the truth is that for the business to work, you need to import those potato seeds. So you buy potato seeds from Canada. And to, let's say, to plant that 1 ton of potatoes, you need 100 potato seeds. And those 100 potato seeds, they cost, let's say, $50. Following me? So you pay $50 and you plant your potato seeds. Then you don't have enough workers to pick up your potatoes. So you have to hire people from across the border, migrant workers. So you hire around, I don't know, if you are also working in your field like I would, and your family's also there, and a couple of workers from your hometown, but you still need around let's say 20 Mexican workers to pick up your potatoes. Mhm. Follow me? So $50 for the seeds and the workers. Since those workers need the money, they will work for a lower pay than any other worker. So you will pay them less. You'll still have to pay. I don't know if your country has that or not, but you will still have to pay them a minimum wage. But you won't. And they will work hard and they will want to finish up the work as quickly as possible so they can proceed to other places of employment and make more money and send it back home or for their family that is living in the United States with them. Okay? You're still following me? Okay. Now, your president comes and says, I'm going to put tariffs on Canada. I'm going to put 50% tariffs on Canada. All Canadian goods. First consequence, the Canadian producer will consider if it is worth selling potato seeds to the United States or not. Why? Because maybe the person buying the potato seeds from him in the United States, the grocer, he will say, "Look, I cannot buy you the potato seeds now at $100 for a ton." And the Canadian producer, what will he do? Well, just sell them elsewhere. And believe me, there will be other countries to buy the potato seeds because there is more than the world from of the world than the United States of America, and of course, you are only 13% of the world's economy. A big economy, but not the economy. There are other economies. Okay, but let's suppose your grocer now he buys the potato seeds at $100. So when he sells you his the seeds, if the Canadian is selling them the seeds at $100, he will charge you at least $300. And if you Americans are so economic savvy, business savvy, like you say you are, you will understand why. Because, let's go back to the beginning, because the grocer will pay $100 for the potato seeds, so he loses $100. And then he wants to make his profit. So he puts $200 on top of it to make sure his profit he has he pays what he owes the Canadian producer and to make sure he has his profit because business are not charities. They are there to make a profit. So, and suppose you buy those seeds at $300. Now comes the second part of the problem. Those Mexican pickers that you had, they won't come, or ICE will get them, or two or three will come. Maybe some that have their status legalized enough, but that is no warranting because even American citizens are being arrested and legal tourists are also being arrested. So that is not a guarantee of absolutely nothing. But let's suppose that these two or three arrive. Then you will have a worry because if only two, let's suppose three appear, you need 17 more persons to pick up your potatoes. So what do? You increase the pay to attract more people to do the work. Or you pay them as much as you would pay an American picker from your town. But what if there is no pickers in your hometown? What if they won't even bother to work for you for the pay you are offering them, even if you pay them a little more? What then? Your potatoes rot in the soil and you make no profit of them. And you have already lost money because instead of the $50 you paid for the potato seeds, you are now paying 300. This is such a simplistic example of what can happen. And you can tell me, oh, but we can produce our potato seeds. Okay, but you will have the same issue. The potato seeds you are buying from Canada, you are buying them because they are cheaper and because you can have a bigger yield in your profit from the crops you are planting. You do not understand this. And how can you say, like I heard the Maga guy say, that why are they worried about their status? Because they were stealing our money and they were doing this and they were doing that. And I often question myself on the intelligence of these people, on their mental stability. I honestly do. Because, my friends, what you have to understand is this. When Mr. Trump claims he is filling the coffers with tariff money, what he is really saying is this, that he is filling the coffers with taxes, extra taxes, charged to the American consumer. And who pays taxes in the United States of America? The rich billionaires? I think so. You, you, the business, the low ends of the society, the workers, the low and middle class that has to pay taxes. And then I hear this, they say we are that Europeans are lazy. For example, I hear this often. Okay, no, we are not. You in America to have more or less the average productivity in Europe, you need to work non-stop, no vacations, no sick days, no nothing. And even so, you barely hit the average productivity of even the worst country in Europe. And we, with mandatory minimal 22 days, and when I say 22 days, it's not Monday to Sunday, it's Monday to Friday. So 5 days a week, or an English week, like we call it here in Portugal sometimes, because it was introduced by applying the English model. 22 days. This means at least at least at least 4 weeks, 4 weeks and a couple of days. And this is the minimum. It increases with age. It increases with other factors that the employer may do. It also includes holidays, official holidays. Like for example, yesterday, Holy Friday, Christmas, New Year's, Independence Day, a lot of days. Those days are also considered vacation. You can also, and you cannot, and I'm going to say this again because us also Americans ask me this. No, you cannot take vacation days on holidays, on official holiday week or holiday days here. You have to, your vacation days have to, they need to be work days. Only in those days you can enjoy your vacations, and you have a minimal of vacation days to, for example, to enjoy. So if you, for example, you have 22 days of vacation, you have to at least in one go enjoy 11 days of vacation in most works. Okay? But the level of taxing that we pay is much higher than yours. And we sometimes we don't like indirect tax in things like fuel and others and energy. And this is one of the imperfections that we are constantly battling here, because we consider that if the state is charging us more, I'm speaking of Portugal right now, if the state is charging us more in taxes, then the state should and had to and has to charge less in indirect and consumer taxes, like energy and like food, as I said. And did I mention that you receive more for extra hours and that you can only work a number? This varies according to the job you have, but you can only work a fixed number of extra hours and that your employer cannot contact you when you are off duty, that you don't need to be constantly on the call. Of course, if you like your job and you go on a vacation and you have an important role, you can always say to your boss, look, I'll keep my phone on. So if you need anything, you can give me a call and I'll try to help you. But it's not a constant thing. It's not an obligation. It's even considered harassment. Oh, I also forgot to say this. And if you work, and if you agree to work on, for example, Saturdays and Sundays, or even those national holidays, then you also receive more, and you also have a maximum number of hours that you can work every week. And why is this? Is it socialism? Is it communism? No. Socialism and communism are political systems. What we have are capitalist states, democratic states, and in our democracy, we include measures and attitudes before things that may be perceived as socialist, but that are not. Socialism was born, adopted these measures, but they were already here ever since the Renaissance and the humanism movements and all of that. Okay, and and it's a way of looking at things that is basically a time to work, a time to eat and sleep, and a time to rest and enjoy yourselves. Because we are humans, because we are not machines, and because we are not slaves. So you need to have a time in which you have to work to produce for the society. Then you need to have a time to eat, to rest, and you need also to have a time to be with your family, to do whatever you want to do, to enjoy yourself, to sit in the porch and have a beer, whatever. But you need that time. Why? Because you need it for your mental stability and for your physical stability and for the cohesion of society also. Societies that have these perks are more cohesive. Working yourself to death is not a good thing for anyone because it's not productive. I told you, like I told you, our societies are more productive than yours. Always on the go, always trying, and always trying to even the display of wealth is not perceived. And I'm going to talk about in the cultures that I know that are a part of me, the German and the Portuguese one. It is not good to display your wealth in an offensive way. It is not moral. It is not correct. Amassing large amounts of money, it's not considered, I would not say a good thing, but it's not considered an important thing. It is good to have money. It is good to be able to buy the things that you like, to be able to go to the places that you want. But that is not essential, and you should not flaunt it around like some peacock to others. So, rappers with bling and all that crap, that is meaningless to us. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic. And Wall Street wolves and all of that crap. pathetic. And this is one of the reasons why American movies and all American music and all of that has been taking a plunge around here because it has become ridiculous, a joke. And continue on this discussion, I will also have to address one thing. Your president doesn't know what a tariff and a VAT is. When you go to your shops, you pay taxes over what you purchase. Here, it's the same. If you go to a shop, you pay a tax over what you purchase. The difference here is that we are not savages, so when the product is on display, even in areas with this different tax pay, tax collecting, whatever. For example, in Portugal, you have three different areas. You have continental Portugal, you have the Azores and the Madeira Islands, and these are three areas where taxing is different for reasons that I might explain in another video. But so if I'm going to buy a loaf of bread, the price of the loaf of bread is immediately displayed. So, for example, I just went to buy a big loaf of bread right now from I think I bought it in the supermarket because I usually make my own bread because I'm the son of a baker and I was a baker until my late 20s. But I bought a loaf of bread, traditional bread, not chemical cake like yours. Sorry, I have to say it. But I bought it for 99 cents, not even a euro. It's immediately there. And we have those goods here. And we have cars and we have appliances. No? For example, here in Portugal, you can buy German appliances that are produced here in factories here, in manufacturers here, or in Spain, right? Or partially in one place and in the other. So we really don't need those goods from America. And we were buying some of those goods, like the cars, for example, because you were our allies and we needed to help you. This is what a lot of people in the United States don't understand. We were helping you. And when you say you were paying for Europe's defense, no, you were not. You were paying in certain areas where you took a role of leader, like, for example, the nuclear defense. But those bases, we were paying for them. You were paying for your soldiers that came here. And they were not even, I think from the latest figures, they were not even 10% of the total military forces in Seoul. But your military apparatus, they helped to control the defense lines, for example, the bases, the exercise, all of that. Because that is what an ally does. And as I said before, we were buying your goods to give you a hand. We allowed you to sell your Coca-Colas, your Fantas, your goods. We allowed you to sell your cars, even if they are inferior to ours. We allowed you a number of things. We allowed you to travel visa free to our countries. We allowed you to install your companies here too for you to also make a profit. We allowed you a lot of things. And in return, we got to be called lazy by your vice president and useless and whatever. He probably called us peasants like he called the Chinese Jew. And you stabbed us in the back. And speaking directly to you, my American friends, my hillbillies in the Americas, what do you do to a friend that betrays you? I know what I do. Never talk with them again. Since he was my friend, I won't kick his ass, but I will just ignore him forever. Now, do you see where you stand now? Hmm? Shame of you. Shame on you. Shameful. My dad loved the Americans, you know. He even considered immigrating to the United States, but he didn't. Because my dad, he had an unique characteristic that I have a little of it, but I'm a bit more cold and non-empathic. But my dad had this unique gift of understanding when a person was not being absolutely truthful. He was an excellent reader of people. And he always told me that the Americans were good, great people, but something was off. Well, he was right. Enjoy your day.